That was a very disappointing inaugural contribution from the new Labour arts spokesperson. It makes me hope that one day the spokesperson will be the sort of the Holy Spirit of this rather sad triumvirate, Darian Fenton, because she's apparently the third person. But quite apart from the fact that Ms Ardern doesn't seem to realise that the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra and the Royal New Zealand Ballet are actually not funded through the Arts Council, but they're direct line funded. Why personalise it on me? I think it's important when one is debating these sorts of things in committee stages to get away from personalities and focus on the words of the... And I do say this to Ms Ardern because she obviously has a few problems with reading a bill. Go to clause 11 2b and one sees the functions of any committee established as a committee of the Arts Council may do any other functions that the Arts Council delegates to the committee. Indeed it could be. So take this hypothetical. Mr Robertson, one must learn to listen as well as to ask questions, and I'm trying to answer your questions, so please do me the courtesy of listening for the first time in his life. What I would say is this. There could be a range of bodies that would at the present time may be funded by Te Waka Toi. Take, for example, Te Matatini as an organisation, or there may be a range of project funding applications that come through twice a year when the Arts Council does its funding rounds. It could well be that the Arts Council determines that it will continue to fund the performing bodies, the theatres or Te Matatini or whatever, although Te Matatini is in fact direct line funded. I'm using that simply as a hypothetical example, but may give to Te Waka Toi or the new body that follows it the responsibility of determining funding applications for project funding. So what we're trying to do in this legislation is not be unduly prescriptive, but to provide general powers, particularly marrying them up with what's contained in the Crown Entities Act, and thus enable the Arts Council to exercise its functions for the best purposes and in the interest of the arts. So that's really what it's about, not being too prescriptive, but certainly the answer to Ms Ardern's question is yes, of course, any body established under clause 10.4 may be able to fund. The way the Labour Party is speaking tonight, and to a lesser extent the other parties who have made contributions, you would think there'd been a tsunami of concerned submissions. But one should look to the commentary, I say, to Mr Okenvola as a result of that very incisive contribution from him, that actually the committee received and considered 15 submissions from interested groups and individuals, and guess what? They heard 3 submissions. So after all the noise, what did Horace say? The mountains labour and a ridiculous mouse is born. That basically that's what we've had from the Labour Party tonight. All the noise in the world, but a ridiculous mouse is born because there were only 3 submissions.
Dr. Rajin Prasad.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. I'm pleased to take a brief call on this bill.
Give me the Latin version.